Hey guys, welcome to this lesson. Now, this is really building on the filling your own cup module, and it's about creating an ecosystem for success. What that means is what we're talking about is macro level energy and mood management, meaning we want to look at the inputs of your life. So if you're that circle, uh, those arrows are the inputs of your life, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that means. But you can see there it says food, people, media, and experiences. So, for example, you know that some food that you eat makes you feel like shit, and you know some food that you eat makes you feel great. Same with people. Some people that you interact with make you feel like shit. Some people make you feel great and inspired. Same thing with media. Same thing with various experiences. We can go on, and we will. But the, the theme of this video is you want to analyze what all the inputs are into your life and ask for yourself, are they serving you or are they making you feel shit? Because if they're making you feel shit, you've got to realize that it is in your control. It is more in your control than you realize to change them. And I will use myself as an example. So for me, I was hired by someone in when I was working once into into a really great job. But it turns out that the reason she hired me at 25 years old is because she was such a toxic, abrasive person that anyone, like borderline everyone that worked either at her level or underneath her level, ended up leaving because she was just so toxic. Like there was a point where some lady on that same floor in the office who didn't have any interaction with the person I'm talking about, she started to burn like sage in the office because she was like, there's like a really bad energy in the office. And the thing is, literally, I think that that team that lady I'm referring to built up. There was 15 people in this team that her and I built up together. All 15 people, including me, left that team because of her. She was just so toxic. Anyway, that was obviously impacting my life, right? Like, it was really impacting my sense of happiness. My happiness just went down the drain when I was working there with her, to the point where I hadn't drunk in so many years, and I felt like I wanted to start drinking again on the weekend to help me get my mind off it. Like, it was really bad. And now, so she, as you can see, is an example of a toxic input. Now, how could I have navigated that better? Here's the thing. Number one is recognition. It's recognition that, okay, this is an input which is not making me feel good. So the question is, how can I like really limit my interactions with this person to an essential minimum? And the thing is, I knew to ask myself that question at that time, but I didn't understand that I needed to have stronger boundaries. I just didn't get it. I thought that I had to be a certain way, but you don't. So this is a nuanced example, but effectively with her, the I had to learn two things. Number one was I had to learn to focus just on my work. And she had the type that whenever she had a thought in her head, she would like call me to her office to tell me about her bullshit thoughts. It was just it was very awful. And because I could never focus, I could never concentrate, never get anything done because she would change tax all the time, have the worst deadlines, etc., etc. But the way I got through it was I realized, number one, I need to like stop thinking all these super negative thoughts, and I needed to focus so much with so much intensity on my laptop and the work that I was doing. There were times where I could even feel her in the corner of my eye, like looking at me because she's had a thought and she wants to share it and she wants to come over. And I would just be like, and actually, it turned out to be one of the best blessings, actually, because I learned how to become super, super, super focused on things. And I became very present because that was the only way to cut through that level of unconsciousness that she had. That was number one. Number two was I had to learn how to had to have some tough conversations and learn how to have strong boundaries. I actually learned how to have tough conversations because of that person. And I realized I had to go to her and say, listen, this is why your style is damaged. Like I am struggling to work with it. So I will interact with you. I'm very happy to have almost like if you want to have a daily 15-minute meeting to catch up, very happy to do it or whatever. But I introduced structure to everything and I created like some really fierce boundaries around what I was doing. I say that example to say this. In a place where you would think that, you know what, like this is the lady that hired you and now you are not being cooperative. Like that was the story that was going in my head. But I say all that to say that there is a way. If you have to fiercely enforce and protect your own cup. So even for me, in what felt like one of the worst situations, I found a way to actually like defend my own state of being. And you must do that, especially if you've been feeling like shit. So an example which may be more relevant to you is media. You know, I have guys that tell me that on their 1 hour commute or whatever, that the 40-minute commute to work, they're listening to the radio. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, how could you possibly listen to that? Because there's usually so much trash and there's not much quality. And here's the best metric. It's how do you feel after you listen to it? Do you feel better for it or do you feel worse for it? See, if you think about fast food feels good while you're eating it, but you feel crap afterwards, right? So that, and sometimes it feels good to be toxic and bitchy, like hang around people who are bitching and blah blah blah. You don't feel good afterwards. So if you really want to take this concept to uh, you know, your full potential of it, literally think about every single hour, your every single waking hour of your week. So think about when you're brushing your teeth, or what media are you ingesting, if anything, or what are you thinking about? And if you thinking about, like, if you notice your mind just wanders into unresourceful places while you're brushing your teeth, maybe you should play some kind of inspiring podcast. And what you can do is go on your phone, create a playlist of a whole bunch of inspiring channels, things that you really care about. Maybe it's investing for you or whatever. Create a list and then play that in the background. So you're actually focusing on something a bit more positive. Does that make sense? Think about the people you're interacting with and ask us. So and it's usually at work that people tell me they're interacting with negative people. My question is, are you interacting with them at the essential bare minimum, or are you overdoing it? Are you trying to prove something to them and it's going nowhere? Like, stop doing that stuff in the dark. Instead, pursue your goals in the light. If you're trying to get ahead, if you're trying to buy an investment property, or you're trying to uh, I don't know, like progress in your career, create a side business, focus all your energy into that and use that to tailor, you know, whatever your goals are to get ahead. Maybe it's a side business or a new job or whatever that is for you. Maybe for you, just learning how to be more confident, more emotionally resilient. No problem. Like, focus all your inputs around that. Focus your food around things that actually help you feel really good and have a calm mind. Hang around people that make you feel like, you know, you have a more calm mind and you feel really great for it. And if you don't have access to people like that, then make sure your whole YouTube algorithm is around people that make you feel that way. Uh, Hope what I'm saying is making sense. So, you know, in this realm, it's a bit more of an art form. It's hard without knowing your personal circumstance, but you know it. So really break down what that is for you and figure out how you can actually tailor everything in your ecosystem to make you feel better and feel like you're growing. So I hope that makes sense. The magic question is, how do I feel after I interact with this input? If you feel better for it, then you know it's a good one. So hope that helps. I'll see you in the next module.